Chapter 29. Building Lives for Better Future Feeding the Poor Children. The real solution is to improve the incomes of the poor and provide their children with decent education. Carol Bellamy. In March of 2019, Tony Pizarro read an article about Building Lives for Better BF, a Chula Vista-based organization that feeds, educates, and mentors poor children in the Philippines, Mexico, and even in the United States. His old friend, a local realtor in San Diego, wrote about it in an article published in the San Diego Asian Journal, a leading Filipino-American newspaper in San Diego, California. A few days before, she was introduced to its founder, Chpt Chan Jr., who had invited her to join their immersion program in the Philippines. For several nights, she stayed with an indigenous poor family in Pangasinan, the Philippines, to see how they live and how BLBF helps them. In the article, she described how the family played host to her. They were not prepared when she arrived, and there was no dinner available. Some family members went to the rice fields and caught frogs, which they ate that evening. The friend experienced total immersion. Tony was delighted to see her photos inside a mosquito net, which is required whenever one sleeps in some areas of the Philippines. Otherwise, one may fall victim to the nocturnal vampires. During her stay, she was exposed to the charitable projects of BLBF. She saw how the group fed poor school children with 2 meals a day and mentored them to become good people through example. BLBF also gives them scholarships to obtain a college degree. The thought of children with nothing to eat touched Tony Pizarro. Millions of poor children in the Philippines could hardly eat 3 meals a day because their parents cannot provide for them. He saw them begging in the streets of downtown Manila, in the slum communities, and in the remote areas in the provinces. Many girls would marry at the first opportunity, although they were barely in their teens, hoping to escape their poverty-stricken family lives. Often, they find themselves living the same kind of life and giving their own children the same kind of destitution and sufferings they themselves experienced growing up. That's why when he was told BLBF feeds poor children, Tony became more interested in its endeavors. A few days later, she brought the founder of the BLBF, Chpt Chan Jr., to his office. JC told Tony he had founded the group 6 years ago. He was by himself at first and using his own money to carry out its mission. He said he earned more than 6 figures as an internet entrepreneur. Virtually all of his earnings went to the project. To save money, he and his wife slept in their family car at first, then later in their van donated by a benefactor, and they would take a shower in his BLBF office. It also helps that JC is a professional cook with a successful catering business on the side. He cooks the food that feeds senior citizens and children in San Diego and Tijuana, as well as those in the Philippines whenever he is there. His culinary expertise enables him to save money for and enjoy implementing his projects. "It's like feeding my family with food I cooked myself," he says with a smile. Another friend told Tony that he had the opportunity to see the facilities of Building Lives for a Better Future in Pizarro, Pangasinan in the Philippines during his visit in October of 2019. They drove from Manila to Pangasinan for only 3 hours as freeways covered the route. BLBF's Angat Buhay Center is just one story, yet is well-designed and functional, according to Tony's friend. JC Chan showed him around and explained how the place operates. "We have at least 100 scholars, all elementary and high school students from poor families, attending several schools in the area," he explained. In the morning, his staff prepares breakfast and lunch. The food is placed in a plumbera, tin containers on top of another, secured by wires. The food is delivered to the schools, and the students are fed in the morning and during lunch. This would guarantee they are well fed and can absorb their lessons properly. At one time, many could not afford to eat before and during school because their families were too poor to feed them. On weekends, the same students attend sessions at the BLBF Center, where they are further mentored to succeed and taught additional skills in life. They tend their own garden in their yards back home, the produce of which BLBF buys and uses to feed the same students. This way, they could also earn extra money and learn proper values. BLBF vows to educate and feed them until they all graduate from college. After a sumptuous merienda, JC and his driver brought the visitor to their other operations in San Nicolas Pangasinan, a 1-hour drive. They drove northeast towards the foot of the Sierra Madre mountain. On the other side of the mountain is the province of Nueva Vizcaya. It was already dark when they arrived at the San Isidro National High School. Right beside it is the BLBF facility that houses at least 100 indigenous students, children who belong to the ethnic tribes in the nearby mountain. There are 2 huge rooms that contain double-decker bunk beds where the BLBF scholars live and sleep, the visitor from San Diego told Tony. The boys are separated from the girls, and iron grills ensure no intruders go inside during the night. Many of the students leave to visit their families during the weekend, said JC, who explained why only a third of them were present. These students have to walk far longer, maybe 2 hours, before reaching their huts in the mountains. That is why they could not visit home as frequently as the others. Some students were playing chess, a skill that could sharpen their minds and help with their endeavors. The school principal, Jesus M. Lucas, Jr., donated the lots that house the facility in support of the BLBF's projects. The vacant lots would be used as gardens, so the students could raise some of the food they eat. He was the one supervising the facility, and JC even brought him together with a few students to San Diego during the group's gala event recently. "Have you eaten?" JC asked 2 elder boys assigned to supervise the younger ones, Tony's friend recalled. "Not yet," they replied. It was already past 7 in the evening. JC asked why not and was told the food budget for that week was already spent inexplicably. When the visitor heard about the problem, he handed JC 2,000 pesos for food for the night. "Is that enough?" he asked JC. "It's okay," he said. He handed him another 1,000 pesos, $20. "How about this?" he asked. "It's okay," JC said again. The visitor still felt guilty, so he handed another 1,000 pesos. He realized nothing would be enough to fund all of BLBF's projects. People need to donate as much as they can to send 200 students from elementary school to college. "What you gave is more than enough for tonight," the principal assured the visitor. "We will use the rest of the money some other time." "What do you intend to feed them?" the donor asked. "We'll have dillis, dried anchovies, and tomatoes," he replied. JC brought with him a half sack of rice. BLFB has been in existence for 6 years. Slowly, through the use of JC's personal money and some donations, some facilities were erected and goals of the group were achieved. "We have a long way to go. I intend to pursue this project as long as possible." He admitted, however, there were times when he was about to give up. "But we have managed to survive." The students in San Nicolas belong to indigenous families, tribe people living in the mountains of the Cordilleras and Sierra Madre. They used to walk down the mountain for 2 hours to attend the school. Sometimes they were too tired to return home in the evening and slept under the trees. This is why JC made it a priority to feed, house, send them to school, and mentor them until they obtain their college degrees. A few months ago, a lady visitor was so touched by the plight of the children that she bought them buckets of Jollibee fried chicken, JC told the visitor. It was the first time some had eaten that dish. The guy from San Diego wished he had more time that evening. He would have liked to feed the children fried chicken so some could experience having eaten it the second time in their lives. Tony Pizarro remembered attending school as a young boy with an empty stomach. He did not want other children to experience similar fate. At the end of the meeting, he donated $20,000 to the project. In subsequent meetings, they agreed to set up a similar project in Tony and Priscilla Pizarro's hometown in Orion, Bataan, all to be financed by the couple. His hungry days as a young and poor orphan in the area, no doubt, prodded Tony to make sure that many destitute children will no longer be hungry as he was before.